So, hi there everybody, we are live once again. Okay, so let's see, next stream is going to be on Tuesday, which will be the 2nd of October at 3:30 p.m. UK time. So Yuri, what you need to do is not worry about the mistakes, but try to correct them as they can. In magnificent English, no article, very good. So, hi Rishi, there we are. So let's see, welcome to Rishi and Vitali and Yuri and to Renyard. And I don't know if Julia's still here, but I'm sure she'll be back. Okay, so we would do... Hi, Nad. Great. Correct them on an ad hoc basis. Yes, that's the idea, Yuri. Hi, Jasmine, as well. Next stream's going to be on Thursday, which is the 2nd at the normal time. So, let's go for it. We were doing this article about vitamins. Okay, on an ad hoc basis. You see, ad nauseam is about actions, and trite and hackneyed are about words and phrases. Ad hoc, hi Maurits, whenever needed, when necessary. So here we go, and first one. Wow. Finally, elderly people, especially nursing home residents, who tend to have a restricted diet and spend little time outwardly, outdoors, open air, out, may benefit from taking a mixture of vitamin D and calcium to prevent osteoporosis. Hi, Julia. So good to see you, Nad, as well. As and when it's necessary. Okay, so outdoors for Vitali, outdoors for Maurits, outdoors for Nad, outdoors for Rishi, outdoors for Yuri, outdoors for Julia, outdoors for Manisco, outdoors for Renyard. So outwardly, but no, outwardly. Internally, he's very calm. Outwardly, he seems very strange. Outdoors, yes. In the open air, it needs an in. Out what? It needs more. Outdoors. Whoa, what a start. Okay. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. And... that's better. Hi, Yasmin. Oh, sorry. Hi, Victoria. Lovely to see you. Well done, Manisco. Outdoors as well. May benefit from taking a gerund. May benefit from plus ing, definitely. And the large French study that was done in nursing home residents showed that a simple adding, supplement, extending, expanding, raise of those two nutrients resulted in a 40% reduction in hip fractures, says Dawson-Hughes. Hi Lando, lovely to see you. Hello Oksana. They spend a lot of time in the open. Yes, you could very definitely, Renyard. A simple adding, so a simple supplement, a simple extending, expanding, raise. So raise, no. Let's see, we've got out in nature, out in the own for Vitali. Okay, so supplement for Vitali, adding for Lando, supplement for Maurits, adding for Oksana, supplement for Yuri, supplement for Rishi, supplement for Julia, adding for Nad. Hi Patricia, supplement for Patricia, supplement for Manisco, a raise for Victoria, adding, says Renyard. Okay, a simple, let's see. Supplement is a word that is used a lot for this. A simple adding, I would say a simple addition of those two nutrients, but to their diet. A simple supplement. Supplement is easily the word we want. Here, Hughes as Huggies. Okay. Okay, a simple supplement, a vitamin supplement. Vitamin supplement is a collocation, and supplement is better here. A simple adding, a simple addition. Addition would be much better as a noun. The simple addition of. A simple supplement, yeah. Okay. That's the evidence trail that I believe we need out in the open. Addition versus adding. Yes, it's often a difficult problem, that. ING or another noun. I'm taking supplements and adding them to my dinner. So that's the evidence trail I believe we need to get back to in order to find out whether community dwelling adults would benefit, or whether the others adults who are deficient in calcium and vitamin D would benefit. Okay, other. So, yes, out in the open is definitely better. Okay, other for Maurits, other for Lando, other for Oksana, other for Vitali, other for Julia, other for Rishi, other adults, says Renyard, good. Other for Nad, other for Patricia. Yeah? Others. Whether or, okay, let's see, Manisco. Others, adults. No, it needs to be other adults. Others we normally use without a noun. Or whether others, without the word adults, who are deficient in calcium would benefit. Okay, but other adults or others, but without the noun. Okay, this is for some. This is for others. This is for other people. Okay, and that's why other. Okay. That's really what we really need to know. Yes, adults is plural, and that's why other adults. A blue car. The other is incorrect too, yes. The other adults. But so, that's why we really need to know, because an enormous proportion of the world's population is deficient, inadequate, insufficient, defective, poor in both. So deficient for Vitali, deficient for Oksana, deficient for Lando, deficient for Nad, deficient for Maurits. Inadequate in. Deficient for Julia, deficient for Yuri, deficient for Patricia. Has an inadequate supply of both. Consumes insufficient of both, insufficient amounts. Defective is something is wrong. Poor, no. Population have an insufficient intake. Good. Well done, Lando. Yes, definitely. Hi, Akaku. Good to have you, motivation. So, deficient, yes. Is deficient in both. Deficient, it doesn't have enough. Their diets are deficient. Lacking in both. Good, Vitali, well done. And finally, Manson focuses, stresses, accentuates, magnifies that megadosing or taking quantities of vitamins higher than the recommended daily allowance is not recommended. Stresses, says Vitali. Stresses, says Lando. Stresses for Oksana. Stresses for Julia. Stresses for Maurits. Stresses for Nard. Stresses for Renyard. Stresses, says Rishi. Focuses on the fact that. Points out, good Yuri-san. Magnifies the importance of something. Stresses, says Patricia. Vitamin or vitamin. Notice Lando. I as a Brit, I'm going to say vitamin. But as an American say vitamins. Vitamins. Highlights. Good word, Yuri-san. Accentuate. Make more noticeable or prominent. Yes, I use makeup to accentuate the beauty of my face. Okay, so to stress that. He stresses that. It really is the case. It really is the case that more is not consequently, surely, imperatively, necessarily better, she says. Is overkill and therefore not recommended. Good, is overkill. Not necessarily, says Oksana. Manson is quite emphatic that. Good, Rishi. Whoops. So, necessarily for Vitali and Yuri-san and Maurits and Lando and Nard and Julia and Renyard and Manisco. Yes. Is not consequently. But consequently of what? Is not consequently, no. Is surely not. No. Imperatively, not necessarily better. Necessarily for Manisco there as well. Very good. But if anyone has difficulty, problems, cares, concerns, commas can go inside or outside, yes. But if anyone has difficulties, problems, cares, concerns about whether they're getting an adequately healthy, balanced diet, taking a multivitamin could be a form of insurance to make sure they're getting these essential vitamins and minerals. So, concerns for Maurits, concerns for Julia, concerns for Rishi and Renyard and Oksana and Victoria and Vitali. The role of makeup is to highlight the natural charm of the face, or whatever positive stuff there is. Concern, says Lando. Good. Concern, says Manisco. If anyone has worries about weather, okay, so if anyone has concerns about, it's a good form of insurance. And that's the end of this article. Okay, yeah, concerns. That's it, Patricia. You have concerns about your English, Yuri. So, how England concerns for Nard as well. So, how England misplaced its first king. New article. In his lifetime, the first king of England was conspicuous, renowned, reputable, magnificent throughout Europe. Here, makeup is cheating writ large. In his lifetime, the first king of England was renowned, says Lando. Renowned, says Rishi. Renowned, says Vitali. Okay, was conspicuous. Something that's conspicuous is something that you can see easily. It's not to modify the features. This often frightens men away. So, is renowned, says Julia. Reputable is to have a good reputation. A reputable builder, a reputable plumber. Renowned, says Victoria. Magnificent. But magnificent, no, no, no. Renowned says no. Renowned is famous. He was famous. He was well known. Yeah? Everybody knew him throughout Europe. Which is quite a difficult thing, as it's more than 1,000 years ago. So renowned says Maurits as well. Renowned, famous. But over the centuries, he has been pigeonholed, sidetracked, outcast, sidelined by history. Renowned says Regnard as well. Don't commit to a bird until and unless you've seen her face in the morning sans makeup. Sidelined, says Lando. Good morning, Raoul. Sidelined, says Niall. Was illustrious throughout Europe. Yeah, I think you could say illustrious, Regnard. Sideline, says Yuri. Sideline, says Vitali. Outcast, says Rishi. Outcast, says Victoria. Outcast for Maurits. Sideline, says Julia. Sideline, says Regnard. The beauty of a woman's face with or without makeup. So, pigeonhole. To pigeonhole is to classify. He's been classified by history. No, he isn't, because nobody remembers him. To sidetrack. This is a red herring. This is what... To sidetrack is when I suddenly start talking about the beautiful sunny weather outside. No, that's sidetracked. Distracted. Yes. Outcast means... excluded from society. Hi, El Billy, who's gone for sideline. Outcast by history. You don't get outcast by history. An outcast is somebody outcast by society. But sideline, put to the side. Something that's sidelined is given secondary importance, is forgotten, is put into a pigeonhole where it's of little importance. Sideline, says Patricia. For a king who achieved so much, Athelstan is a remarkably mysterious monarch. It is 1100 years since he was crowned the first king of England, yet he's remained surprisingly lacking, absent, wanting out from the history books. Sideline, secondary importance. So, absent, says Lando. Yeah. Pigeonholed, compartmentalised. Absent, so we've got as in cat. Rishi. It'll tell you in a second. Absent for Vitali and Patricia and Julia and Rishi. And absent for MD Efat. Hi MD. Absent for Niall and Maurits and El Billy and Oksana and Yuri and Manisco and Victoria. Top of the morning to you, Alex. Okay, he's remained surprisingly absent. Yeah, he's not there from his history books. While Athelstan himself may have been largely forgotten, his legacy still hovers, hangs, shoots, looms large. Okay, it's called ash. Rishi. Looms for Lando, looms for Rishi, looms for Oksana. Looms for Maurits, looms for Julia, looms for Alex, looms for El Billy. To loom large, to be important. This is a collocation. And also look, l, it's got some alliteration to it. Looms large. It could be hover, Manisco, but it's not. To loom large for Patricia and Reynard. So he's a character that looms large in history. I don't know. Berlusconi was a character who loomed large in Italian history. Virginia Woolf is an author who looms large in literature. Okay, to loom large, to be important, stands out. A good one to add to your vocabulary, to loom large. Okay, here you go, Rishi. The ash, A-E, by the way, is said, spoken, recited, pronounced, like the A in cat. Pronounce, says Lando. Pronounce for Vitali. Pronounce, says Oksana. Alexander the Great looms large in Macedonian history. Very good, Rishi. Pronounced for Reynard, pronounced for Maurits, pronounced for Nad, pronounced for Julia and Rishi and Alex. This is the hardest one yet. Is pronounced. Okay, it is said. I guess said would work, but is pronounced. Pronounced. We're talking about the pronunciation. Pronounced for Patricia. To recite, you recite a bit of poetry. 'Twas brillig and the slidey toves didst gyre and gimble in the wave. Pronounced. Not only did he unite several disparate, divergent, differential, distinctive kingdoms to create England, but he built a deep and complex relationship with mainland Europe. Disparate for Vitali, distinctive for Lando, disparate for Rishi, disparate for Patricia, disparate for Alex, disparate for Yuri, disparate for Oksana, disparate for Julia, disparate for El Billy, disparate for Maurits. Okay, distinctive. If something is distinctive, you can tell them apart. You know what it is. So, twins. It can be very difficult because the difference between twins is not distinctive. So if something's distinctive, it's distinct, it's clear, it's noticeable. There's a distinctive mark, a mark that distinguishes something. Divergent. If two things are divergent, they are moving in different directions. Differential, no, the difference. Disparate is a superlative of different. Yes, Lando. Yes, Lando. Very different. Disparate. So, I don't know. Life in London and life in rural China. These are very disparate things. Disparate, very different. Divergent, going in different directions. Divergent, moving in different directions. Good. The differential, the difference between. A differential. Distinctive, easy to notice, easy to distinguish. Disparate. At home, he ruled over a diverse kingdom of people with different cultures and identities. He put, set, did, lay, fitted trends too, as the first English monarch to wear a crown, a tradition that continues today. Yeah, disparate is like heterogeneous. That's very good. Yeah, all sorts of different things. Okay, so Oksana says set trends, Vitali set trends, Lando set trends, Yuri-san set trends, Elbilly set trends, Victoria set trends, MD set trends. Differential calculus. Yeah, exact and inexact differential equations. dy by dx. Set trends for Alex and Manisco and Maurits and Nad. Set for Renyard and Maurits and Patricia and Rishi. A trend setter. Very good, Manisco. And set trends. He set trends as the first monarch to wear a crown. After he died, however, Athelstan was soon darkened, outstripped, overshadowed, outperformed by the legacy of his great-grandfather, Alfred the Great. Very Bismarck raised the status of Germany by uniting disparate entities. That's a very nice example. Overshadowed, says Landa. Overshadowed, says Rishi. Overshadowed for Vitali. Overshadowed for Maurits. Overshadowed for Renyard. Overshadowed for Alex. Overshadowed for Oksana and Julia and Manisco and Yuri. Outstripped by Elbilly. Overshadowed by Victoria. Overshadowed by Patricia. So let's see. He was darkened. His story was darkened. His reputation was darkened. To darken, to make less good. To outstrip. To do more than. To go further than. So two people who are competing and one outstrips the other. They do a lot better than. He was superseded by the legacy. Yes, but supersede normally is to come after. Overshadowed. The period of Europe when old barbarian kingdoms split into multiple entities. The Dark Ages, Renyard? Similar to outshine, yes. He was soon overshadowed. It's a shadow went over, yeah. A shadow went over his reputation. To outstrip, to be much better than somebody else. He was outperformed by his grandfather, but his grandfather was already dead. Yeah, Alfred the Great had been dead for quite a long time. Outstrip, overtake, surpass, yes. To outstrip, to be much better. So he was overshadowed. The fame was put into the darkness. It was not seen. So maybe you do something really good, but it's overshadowed by something that somebody else does even better. To upstage. Yeah. Okay, yes, to be upstaged. If you're overshadowed, you can be great, but you're not as great as someone else, and everybody looks elsewhere. Okay, so he was overshadowed. Yeah, that's the idea, Oksana. Someone looked again and said that his achievements weren't that great in comparison with his grandpa, Alfred the Great. Never darken my door again. That's exactly what happened. History, the people were more interested in other things. Overshadow and outshine contrast. making someone seem less important, where the other is to be even better. There's a subtle but interesting difference. It's the difference between the glass being half full and half empty. Yeah? To overshadow is very negative, whereas to outshine is very positive. They both shone, but one shone brighter. One put the shadow over the other. Okay, in Elizabethan times, he was passed above, about, over, across, beyond, in the search for English origin stories. Okay, so pass over for Oksana and Lando and Rishi and Maurits and Julia and Patricia. To pass over means to jump to somebody else. It was my turn to be promoted and they passed me over. Oh, pass over for El Billy. To skip. Yeah, he was skipped. He was jumped. It wasn't his turn. To pass over. I was passed over for promotion. It was my turn to be promoted, but he got promoted instead. To jump, to forget. Let's pass over this question. Overlook somebody for promotion. That's very good, Vitali. Omitted, yeah. He was omitted in the search for English origin stories. Feudal disunity. Yeah, the English were looking for stories about the origins of England. And Alfred the Great was much more important. Alfred burnt the cakes. And that's the story that people remember. Everybody in the UK remembers Alfred the Great. Nobody remembers Athelstan. In the Victorian era, he was little more than an edge, margin, verge, border, side, lateral note as historians turned to the past to reinforce ideas of empire. Wow! So, side for Oksana, Lando, Rishi, Alex, Maurits and Julia. The times of feudal fragmentation, disparate entities appeared on the map of Europe. Side, a side note. An edge, says El Billy. Okay, thank you, Renyard. Sorry, Vitali. Okay, a side note. And let's see, an edge note. A note on the edge, a note in the margin. A note in the verge, but no, a border, a note on the border of, a lateral note, a side note. Side note is the one that collocates. It's the one that people use. Only Alfred the Great and Edward the Elder are famous. It's a side note. This is the collocation. Something is a side note. A note in the margin, a note at the edge, a note on the border, but a side note. This is the one that collocates noun. A footnote is even worse. Yes. An aside. I like an aside as well. Okay, so, or a sidebar. Absolutely. Okay, last one for today. A side note. Manu. Yeah, people only remember those who have epithets. Early birds. So, it is time this monarch was better remembered. Argues, disputes, debates, supports. William Woodman, Professor of History at Robinson College, Cambridge, and author of a new biography of Athelstan. Sedona Hotel. Okay, argues. So, let's see. Argues for Lando. Like a side chick, says Patricia. Argues, says Vitali. Argues for Maurits. Argues for Alex. Argues for Oksana. Argues for Manu. Argues for Renyard. Argues for Rishi. Argues for Julia. Maintains. Yeah, maintains would definitely fit. Argues for Yuri. Argues for El Billy. Okay, so yes. Argues. Argues is the one. Argues for Patricia. Insists fits quite nicely. Yeah. Argues, says Typhoon. Robinson College, Cambridge. I remember this was new when I was at Cambridge. It was a brand new college. This monarch is arguably better remembered. Yeah, according to. Yeah. A side chick. An extra girlfriend. An extra marital affair. A chick on the side. A girl on the side. Okay, so argues David. Yeah. Manuel the Chubby, I love it. Manuel the Chubby, I love it. Okay, so let's see. Enough for today. Next stream will be on Thursday, 2nd of October at 3:30 p.m. UK time. Thank you for coming, Julia. Thank you, Yuri-san. You didn't need to know that. So, yeah. Give you a warning next time. Cool. Thank you, Vitaly. It's been cool having you. Thank you, Manisco. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Oksana. I'm glad you're fine. Stay safe, Oksana. Okay. Thank you, Typhoon. Thank you, Nad. Thank you, Alex. That's cool. Good to have you, Lando. Thank you, Renya. Thank you, Jasmine. Yes, I'm certain you're getting better, Yuri. It's been a pleasure, Manu. So thanks to Alex and Elbilly and Jasmine and Julia and Lando and Manisco and Manu and Maurits and Na. Thank you to Oksana and Patricia and Renyard and Rishi and Typhoon and Victoria and Yuri-san and to Vitali. So thank you all, and I hope to see you all on Thursday. It's been great having you. Yeah, bye-bye September. Today is the last day of September. Hi, Sumal. Bye-bye all of you. So take care, and I'll see you all on Thursday. Bye.